just to talk to people that are in my subscriptions, but I just wanted to say that I was watching a video of John Carmack talking about his AI work, and I was thinking to myself, does this guy even consider the situation where, well, the idea is he's setting up AI, or he's setting up these agents to play Atari 2600 video games. Um, and he's got all these obstacles in the way of the agent and the screen, and the screen is flat. And this is totally not the situation that we had when we were playing Atari 2600 games. We were gleeful to play the video games, and because of that, we sat down in front of the TV, and the TV had a curvature on the screen, so it was not completely flat. The situation that he's putting these agents in is not even realistic. And if he really wants the proper experience of a human child for an AI to understand from that perspective, then he has to use the sort of things a child would in order to, as a prerequisite to actually playing the video games. And that is rocking back and forth to get a better perspective on the playfield, and moving to where the screen is. If he wants to consider lighting or reflection, he should consider it from in front of the screen, because the low light levels in a room, because you're going to turn off the lights, is going to get rid of a lot of the lighting issues, because people are not going to play video games in a lit room. If you want to do it in a lit room, then you have the problem of the reflections from the room into the video game, and that was the reason why we turned off the lights, is so we could better see the screen. But if you want that added obstruction to playing the video game, then by all means treat it like a real situation where the kid would be in front of the screen. Otherwise, you're talking about situations that have nothing to do with the reality, but have to do with just being able to find a screen in a room, and then being able to figure out what's on the screen. You would need to have superhuman zoom ability on the screen, or just go up to the screen, because a real person is not going to have the capacity to observe imagery from a screen perfectly, using robotic vision. They're going to have distortions in their vision, and the brain is going to have to process that information. But there's a benefit to that. The brain can, with two eyes, determine where what is the playing field and what is not the playing field. It's not about depth. It's about depth and perception, being able to discern objects from another. And reflections are part of that. And if you've ever worked with stereo vision, if you've ever worked with multiple cameras and trying to capture a 3D scene in real life, you know of the situations where light is going to be a benefactor and when light is not. For instance, if you've got light coming in from the window and it's sunlit, then you're not going to be able to discern the television screen from the light in the room. So you're going to close the drapes, and that's going to diffuse the light around the room, and diffused light is better for determining dimension, stereo dimension. And I know this because I've worked with 3D photography using ad hoc left and right perspectives. I know that if the left and right perspectives are um, wide enough in pupillary distance and in um, angle, then you're going to still be able to perceive the 3D three dimensionality of the room and things like that. It's going to have really bizarre effects on the perception of the room and things in the room. For instance, a brick um, a, a a surface that's got bricks across it, like in front of a fireplace, the straight surface. If you take two images that are off by a certain amount of rotation on the y-axis for the camera, that is the up and down axis, then um, your perception in the brain is going to be that it's not straight, but it's straight and then curves and goes off to an angle. The brain actually tries to make sense of the information, even though the perspective is skewed. Um, so there are things like that that the brain takes care of before even like trying to figure out what's what. And I think you get a benefit from doing that that you wouldn't from trying to remove a lot of the information or just adding objects to the scene. Those things are not considering. This is like doing computer animation. A novice doing computer animation, they think about, okay, the character is going to go up to the door. We're going to have a video of the character opening the door with their hand. That they're going to have a close up of the hand turning the knob. They're going to open up the door. Then they're going to go through the door, and we're going to have a camera view of them going through the door on this side and a camera view of and it's not taking into account that the brain is going to draw the conclusion from the character walking up to the door and the character leaving the door. All that other stuff is unnecessary because we know from experience what is involved in going through a door, so there's no need to inform the brain about that kind of activity. It's already going to be understood. And that's the way these AI developers are going at teaching the AI is their or the agent is their it's complete idiocy, it's lunacy, and it's completely ignoring the the history. It's ignoring all sorts of factors. If it's going to be if it's going to be representative of a human, it must go through the same obstacles as a human, not simply playing the video game, but managing the environment. And that's going to have an effect on how the agent perceives the screen or being able to deal with things like screen curvature and the flatness and the lighting situation and contrast and all that other stuff. If you just want to teach it how to play a video game without all that other stuff, I mean, if you're going to excuse anything, if you're going to ignore anything, then you can throw off all that research to someone else to deal with and just deal with the play field. Just forget about trying to do perspectives on the screen and all that bullshit. Just go straight to giving it the playing field and let it determine inside of that inside of that universe of just an AI being put in front of a screen, not even considering all the other factors of seeing the screen and all of that, and using a robot with a joystick and all, and the latency times and all. You can compute those things into the presentation, the model that presents this to the AI. Then the AI can overcome those obstacles in a simulated universe and do it much faster than you can do in reality. Just the fact that you're doing it in reality and doing all the simulation stuff, you might as well not even be doing video games, but doing simulations in trying to identify objects in a setting and being able to discern what's on the screen from what's in the environment. And that's going to require stereo vision, because with one eye you would have to move the agent around in order to discern what is the screen and what is the environment, because you also got the environment in the screen, the reflection off uh, off the screen of the environment and the distortions in the screen. It's a separate problem from dealing with learning to play a video game. And I think that's the problem with Carmack, is that he's just does not give a shit. He doesn't he's at an age where he's so focused on things that have nothing to do with the issue. He's just there. I mean, it's like somehow his common sense flew out the window and it's not even in the room. I don't think the guy's got common sense, or at least this guy doesn't. This guy isn't John Carmack. This reality isn't even real. I know that. I know that. I know this whole thing is complete bullshit, because just the fact that I can get on an OpenAI Chat GPT session and start asking it questions, and when I log in, I lose that previous session. It doesn't associate it with my new session. You know, I know for a fact that the best way to do that interface is by having the session from previous the login loaded in, and then give one the option of copying the screen and everything and include it in the new session. Why wouldn't you? Well, I mean, it's completely devoid of common sense. And if it's devoid of common sense, that means the people that programmed the AI and the people that provided the website are not the same people. It also means that my belief is that these organizations don't exist. They're not real. They're completely, it's complete bullshit. And it's there for me to point out that these are not real people. These are not even, I mean, the reality is that none of this is real. That's how I know, is that just the fact that of the ignorance and the consideration that the technology is so advanced means that ignorant people are it means that there's a disconnect. There's a logical, there's a mental, um, intellectual disconnect between the production of the stuff of the environment. The environment is not the creation of intelligent people. It's the creation of someone else, and the people are not intelligent. They're not real. They're NPCs. Everybody's an NPC except me. That's the way I feel. I'm cutting this thing off.